Hey everybody, this is Mike Mitchell with Progressive Church Media, and in this series of tutorials I'm going to be going over how to use the Livestream Studio software if you are wanting to stream your worship services. Now, there are a lot of different ways to stream worship, and there are a lot of different pieces of software to do that, but I've noticed several churches seem to be using Livestream Studio. It's actually what my church uses, and many of the churches that I have friends who go to, other churches that they're using. So I thought it would be helpful to do a series of videos to show you how to use this software, especially for the purposes of worship. Now, we've put together kind of a little package so that everything I'm going to be showing you over the course of these tutorials, you'll have access to, and at least that'll kind of give you a starting point, and that'll make more sense as we go along. So in this first tutorial, what I'm going to do is just spend some time making sure you've got kind of the basics of the software setup, and in other tutorials then we'll take a deeper dive into different parts of the software so you really know how to use it. I have downloaded the software and got that loaded on my computer. That's what you're seeing here. So really one of the first things that you're going to want to do is set up a project within the Studio software, and you can actually have multiple projects, and then you may want to do that depending on your needs. Let me explain. So my project, I've got it right here. I've just cleverly called it Mitchell 1. You can see I can create a new one or open an existing one. But you might, let's say if, for example, you have a Sunday worship service, and then maybe your church does something else maybe on Wednesday evening. You could, if you wanted to, you could use the same project for all of those services, and if you're using the same graphics and everything, that may be what you want to do. But if for some reason maybe the tone or the flavor of one worship service is a little bit different, then you could set up a different project. So you might have one project that is, Sunday worship, and then another project that is Wednesday worship. Or, I know in some churches they have maybe more than one service even on Sunday, and one of them maybe is more contemporary and one of them is more maybe traditional. And so that might be another reason why you want to have more than one. But you're going to want to have one set up, and you're going to just give it a name. And that's going to then house all the graphics and videos and everything that you are going to use in all of the settings. So that's going to be the first thing that you're going to want to do. The second thing that I'm going to recommend is you click right here beside that, and there are two different views of the Studio software. I believe when you first launch it up, it actually defaults to this simple view, which makes sense because you're kind of just learning the software and it's trying to kind of gently ease you into it. I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and switch to the advanced view. That's what I'm showing you here on the screen. And I'm going to walk you through all of this, and I think when you really get into this and you're really using it to stream a worship service, the advanced view is really the view that you're going to want to use. And I think that'll make more sense when we get into all of this. So those are going to be two things that you're going to want to do right off the top. Now, the other thing that you're going to want to do, again, just kind of setting things up, is you're going to want to go into settings, and to do that you click on this little gear icon right here, and my computer will maybe delay just a second in bringing this up. Okay, so within here, I'm not going to go through all of these settings because some of them are going to be very unique to your specific situation. But one of them I do want to point out is this web control. The default is that it is turned off. I'm going to suggest you may want to turn this on. Let me explain what this does. So I am using the studio software that I've downloaded onto my computer. The way the typical license of this software works is only one person can be using the software at a time. But given where we are, with social distancing and everything, you very well may have other people that you want to have help you actually producing your streaming web service, and they may be spread out and isolated in different places. In fact, I kind of hope they are right now for their own safety. That's where this web control comes in. So if I turn that on, then what it is going to do is it's going to assign this link and this link, and what I can do is come down here and I can add people. I just put in their email address, and I can decide what level of access you want to give them. Typically it's probably going to be full access, but when you put that in and then you give that link, then what that's going to let other people do is join into the studio control over the web, just using a web browser, so that one person can be kind of the main person using the actual software, but other people can maybe be helping from wherever they are, and they're doing that via the web. So I'm going to really encourage you to play around with this web control. At my church, we have found it really helps sometimes to have more than one person doing this, and just as a backup as much as anything. So if you do this, really the key here is click on save once you've done that, so that that will become part of your project settings. So web control is a really key thing, and again, if you want to look in the manual that comes with the studio software, it'll explain that in a little more detail. I'm going to go ahead and click on cancel just to get out of there. Now, the other quick two things I want to show you in this tutorial, and then we'll wrap this one up, are just some of the inputs. I'm going to be going over a lot of these in more detail in other videos, but just so you can see, you have your inputs. This is going to be very much determined by your setup. So right now on this computer, I just have my webcam. If you have other cameras connected into your computer or into your system, they would be showing up here, so that you can have more than one camera. All of these inputs that you see here are also going to show up right in this area, and we'll talk how all that works. Same thing for audio. Whatever input you have, there can be audio that go along with them. And then here you can see is the audio for what's streaming out when you actually get to streaming. We're not actually streaming any of this right now. There is an option, again, we'll talk about this more in another video, but there is an option to invite guests. And then you have a couple of channels here where you can preload some media, some videos, some video loops. Again, I'll show you how to use all of that in another video, but you're just going to have all of these things here. And again, some of this setup is really going to depend on your environment and what you are working with. There are some churches, for example, who connect all of this and actually run their audio through their soundboard, and so that would impact what their audio configuration is like. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. The manual does a pretty good job of kind of walking through each situation. But I do want to come over here really quickly and look at streams, because one of the reasons I think a lot of churches are looking at this software is it has the ability to let you stream to more than one location at the same time. So let's say it's Sunday morning, you're doing your worship service. The cool thing about this is I could be broadcasting or streaming both to Facebook, for example, but at the same time, it could also be piping that stream over onto YouTube. The way you get these set up, it's pretty easy. if I want to get myself connected for streaming to Facebook Live, I just click here. I'm going to sign in to Facebook using whatever account, whatever Facebook page I want to do. So whoever controls that is going to need to be the person to sign in there. And same thing, for example, with YouTube. I'm going to sign in with my Google account or my YouTube account that will connect me to whatever YouTube page I want to stream to. So setting these up is pretty easy. And again, the cool thing is you can do multiple of these so that you can kind of give people a choice of where do they want to watch your stream. And I think, again, that's one of the reasons why a lot of churches really are looking at this. So that's kind of just a quick overview of some of the setup kinds of stuff. This is not the most exciting stuff, but you've got to kind of do a lot of this stuff first before you can get into the fun stuff, which is what I'm going to start to get into in the next tutorial.